Welcome to Hemisphere CTV and welcome back to Chelsea Weekly Review episode 4. I can't believe we've been doing this for 4 weeks now. Guys, there is lots to talk about this week. Obviously, we've had 2 games this week, 2 Premier League games, obviously. We obviously had the situation with Callum Odoi, and then we're going to be looking ahead to our next week of fixtures, which is obviously our Champions League game against Atletico Madrid, and then we've obviously got United in the Premier League, so we've got lots coming up. But first, let's discuss what's happened this week. So we've had a few games, a few things going on, so first of all, let's talk about the Newcastle game. Now, obviously, we took them on last Monday night, so we need to cast our minds back a little bit because it feels like a little bit's happened since then. So obviously we beat Newcastle 2-0 at home. It was obviously a really good result for us. Dominant performance. So thoughts on it, Tom?
Oh, yeah, well, like you say, a dominant performance against them we sort of expected. Obviously good that Timo got a goal finally after I think it was dead on 1,000 minutes, wasn't it, without getting a goal. But obviously, okay, it was a good performance again from him. Obviously getting the sort of, I suppose, half assist for the first one, and then obviously scoring himself. It was completely deserved. Never like that. I think nothing really much to say about it. Like you say, dominant performance, but probably need to be a bit more clinical in the final third. I think that's sort of been one of the main points for Chelsea in the Tuchel's reign so far. We create lots of chances, but we don't finish them. It could have been 5, maybe even 6-0, even before half time, sort of thing. So that's really only the sort of thing we need to go. I mean, it was just an expected win, really. Nothing much happening. And just need to be more clinical.
So obviously our game against Southampton yesterday at St Mary's went slightly differently in comparison to Monday's fixture against Newcastle. I thought we were going to dominate yesterday's game. I thought it was going to be an easy 3 points, a breeze. Obviously, Southampton haven't been doing great recently, especially leading up to this game. They were on the back of at least 5 losses, even more than that. I mean, they got thrashed by Manchester United. They also got beat by Wolves. They were doing badly. And the fact that we went there and just got a point still is sinking in for me. I'm still shocked by that. However, we do sometimes struggle at the St Mary's Stadium. And to a point, how do you feel? I'm frustrated. I'm still quite mad that we just got a point.
Well, obviously made a couple of changes to the side. Obviously, Kante coming in for Jorginho, Zuma in for Christensen. Obviously, it's just sort of resting them obviously for next week. And I think it showed that Zuma hadn't been in the team for a while with obviously the goal. I mean, people are putting the blame on so many other players, but Zuma's sort of the one in the middle, and he's just lost concentration in there. And it's just obviously Minamino's got him behind him. And then you'd want him to sprint back to make it. I mean, obviously Minamino sort of stopped a bit and then passed it into the goal. But you notice Zuma on the way back, he's sort of just jogging. You think if you're sprinting there, you could get back and block it. You put a bit more pressure on the player, but he had so much time to put it in because of that. But I think the first 20 minutes or so, we were completely dominant again, but lacking the final finish and everything like that. I can remember Mount, he had a decent little opportunity on the outside of the area. Just hit it. Well, might as well have a go. You don't know what's going to happen, but we passed it again. Just think that's one thing that I think is starting to show. Just want someone to take control of it, sort of thing. I mean, I can understand, to want it to go out wide and things like that. But when you get that sort of opportunity, you think you just might as well. It was a decent opening for him, so you just might as well go in. Also, we've got the penalty of Stonewall penalty forwards challenge from Danny Ings, decently finished by Mount. But other than that, it was just lackluster. It looked lethargic and things like that, and just despite, I think, with bringing in Kante, I mean, he had a good game, but I think Kovacic looked a little bit sort of just obviously not his usual self. I suppose it could be because he's so used to playing against next to Jorginho and just that sort of thing. So it looked a little bit disjointed, I thought, with Kante coming. I'm not saying that Kante had a bad game, because he had a brilliant game, especially with mopping up and things like that. But it just looked like we hadn't played with each other for God knows how long. So yeah, I suppose it's rotation. You got to keep going, but it just looked a bit naff, really.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with what you're saying. And two things on what you said as well. I don't think anyone can actually say that the players are tired because we played on Monday and yesterday was Saturday. We had a lot of time to prepare there. Second thing is about like taking control. I felt yesterday, and I said it in my match review, there wasn't a player there that was direct, just taking the reins and saying, come on. It was passing it from side to side. There was no one playing direct football. And if you're going to be playing like that, I don't feel like you've got as much of a chance to score, in all honesty. And if it wasn't for that penalty, I think Southampton would have beat us 1-0. I don't think there would have been a player yesterday that would have confidently banged the ball in the back of the net. Well, it doesn't even have to be a confident goal, does it? No player.
No, it could be anything, deflection or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think the problem as well is that the teams we'd sort of played, they'd always sort of stepped off. So, I mean, Barnsley, they were a team that pressed us. That's probably our worst game we've played. I suppose the pitch didn't help either. Obviously, there was a lot of change in that one. But the teams we have played sort of stepped off us and we were allowed to play. And in that point, we should be more clinical. But Southampton, they obviously Hasenhüttl's team, they will press and things like that. So we couldn't really drag them about the pitch as we have done and control the game like that. So it could have been, Tuchel, perhaps. That's why I think maybe Kante came by Jorginho, because I know in past Tuchel has sort of brought on a player that could deal with the press better, which Jorginho may not have been able to cope with as well. But I think just, again, it was one of those things where we perhaps got a little bit comfortable with the teams that we played. Like I said, it all set off like Newcastle, just pretty much, it was just one way for pretty much the 90 minutes. So it just sort of in the head, just thinking, we don't necessarily have to worry. They've been lost 6 games in a row. We could, a bit of an arrogance thing. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens next week.
So now I want to talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, me and Tom were actually discussing this over Messenger earlier, and it did get a little heated. Also, guys, I did take to social media to ask for your opinions earlier. I'll quickly run through them in a second. But yeah, there's been quite a lot of mixed opinions on this situation with Callum Hudson-Odoi, actually. Obviously, Tuchel came out after the game and pretty much, well, how would you word it, Tom? Slated Callum Hudson-Odoi, picked him out singly. And yeah, well, you're going to have your opinion in a minute. But personally, wait. So yeah, he obviously Tuchel came out and slated Callum Hudson-Odoi and his body language, and basically obviously brought him on as a sub and then took him off. Now, I'll just quickly give my opinion about this. I personally disagree with the way Tuchel slated Callum Hudson-Odoi, singled him out. He singled him out. There was 10 other players on that pitch yesterday that weren't 100% playing great football. I mean, if every player was faultless yesterday, we would have won. Like, the players weren't good enough, in my opinion, yesterday, but he just singled out Callum Hudson-Odoi. And I was incredibly frustrated with Tuchel for doing that. And I was mad because I thought he's already causing unsettlement in the dressing room. I felt it was just unnecessary. You have them words behind the scenes in the dressing room. You don't need to bring it out to the media. Also, the fact that he brought him off as a sub, it was really singling him out. I really disagreed with that. You don't bring a player off after bringing him on. I didn't necessarily think Callum Hudson-Odoi's performance was bad yesterday either. I thought he was doing okay. Also, can I just add, before yesterday, I thought he'd played well in the games leading up to that. And yeah, I thought he's been doing well under Tuchel. So the fact he brought him off, singled him out and slated him in front of the media was just incredibly shocking to me. And when he said it, I just thought that's really unprofessional. And I mean, even like the commentators and stuff were saying like, the pundits even said, you don't do that. Fair enough if you've got issues with a player, but you talk about that behind the scenes. Don't bring it out into the media. Also, how does Callum Hudson-Odoi feel about that? He probably looks around him and thinks other players were at fault yesterday. Why am I being singled out? Why did Tuchel slate me? Can I just quickly read out some people's opinions, Tom, and then you can give your opinion and we'll reflect. So Dylan Green on Instagram said, I'm not a Chelsea fan, as you know, but I hate to see that. Like, you brought him on. It was your decision to bring him on. You have to stick with your decision. I believe as a manager, one of the biggest pet hate in football is when managers do that to a player. And then I got a lot of interaction on Twitter. So thanks so much, guys. Also, make sure to get in the comments below and give your opinion. And James Lindsay said, given Callum Hudson-Odoi is likely been looking at an exit strategy for a good 2 years now, it was a bold move by Tuchel to dig him out that way. And I agree, however valid, he said. The bigger picture is key though. Since Terry left the dressing room in 2017, the tendency of players to drop off has been striking. Someone else on Twitter said, if these types of comments does something to Callum Hudson-Odoi's confidence, and I'm afraid he hasn't the mentality to play for us. He should be man enough to take this from a coach who has a lot of trust in him. Callum Hudson-Odoi masterclass incoming on Tuesday, mark my words. And then on Instagram, Albert said he's right to challenge him to be better. Mom CFC, definitely too hard. Need to give him more time on the pitch to see what he is, should not have been. Jim Burrell on Twitter also said, I personally believe you should keep these things in the dressing room. Very true. Digging out players in public isn't the way to do things. And I agree with that. He slated him. He singled him out individually. Deal with it in the dressing room. Yeah, lots of comments. Jake Stokes off my course, he said fair. And I think Tom might agree with Jake there. Go on, Tom, give your opinion.
Well, look, yeah. Obviously, Hudson-Odoi came on, didn't have the worst games. I did get quite annoyed because there was a moment he had a good run into the area. He could have just put it in first time. We've had a decent chance, but he took an extra touch that gave the chance to the Southampton defender. He passed it, he basically just passed it into the Southampton defender. And I was looking at thinking, the way you've angled that is, who are you passing that to? You're literally passing it into just a huddle of Southampton players when you literally had the opportunity to put it in the first time. It could be a confidence thing. Obviously came from the injury and might not necessarily feel too confident to do that or something like that. But with Tuchel, I think it would probably be a motivation thing, because let's be honest, personally, I've probably been one of the best players under Tuchel. It's not as if it'll be, I'm not going to use you now because you've done that. He's come out. He's probably, I know Mourinho was quite good. I think it was on Joe Cole. He said, he came out and said some things about him, and I just sort of kind of got Joe to sort of knuckle down and improve. So I think it'll be that sort of thing. Because obviously in the dressing room, there's obviously different things, and then out in media, obviously it's completely different. It's open up to this sort of debate and things like that. But I think it could be quite similar to what I think about Chilwell, is that Chilwell under Lampard, it was sort of, he was always first choice left back, so he sort of was a bit complacent, relaxed a bit, and thought, I'm going to be in the team next week anyway, so it doesn't really matter how I play. So it could have been that sort of thing. I was looking at when he bought him off for Ziyech, I was thinking, well, perhaps he wanted to keep Reece James on for sort of the defensive ability and that sort of thing, because obviously Southampton could have broke. Mount, why would you take Mount if he was our best player? Werner, again, might as well keep on as a striker. You can run in behind, create a chance. And then you got Marcus Alonso. I saw a lot of people thinking he should have gone off instead, but I was thinking he offers the height in there if you wanted to put a ball in and things like that. So I just think Callum Hudson-Odoi, unfortunately, was just the player that could have been subbed. And unfortunately, obviously, when he came on, obviously for Tammy, it just didn't work. I thought, like I said, I think what sort of kind of clicked it for Tuchel as well was, like I said, that situation where he could have put a ball in the box, could have scored, but he took too long with it. He took the extra touches and it just fizzled out into nothing. So again, I think it's just a motivation thing. Sort of, what, you said that about me, I'll show you what I can do. And he'll be back into his sort of his right wing back position, I would think. But again, I just think it'll be a motivation thing. Try to get the best out of him, get in his head a bit. It's sort of just a motivation thing.
I appreciate what you're saying, how it could maybe act as motivation. But also, it could go the other way. Callum Hudson-Odoi could think, I don't have to put up with a manager outing me like that. I just felt like it was so unprofessional. I just thought it was so wrong. I watched it and I just thought, why are you just singling out Callum Hudson-Odoi individually? Did you think every other player was great yesterday? Because I didn't. Why did he pick on him? And it was the way that he talked about him as well, Tommy. It was like his body language was all wrong. I thought, excuse me, what? I just disagreed. I felt like we saw another side to Tuchel yesterday. He was very. He's not taking.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
He's ruthless. Well, a lot of people, they always complain, oh yeah, the player power at the club and things like that, and now all of a sudden the managers come in, he's not taking any of it and things like that. And all of a sudden people have got a problem with it. It's like, pick a side. Which one is it? Do you want the players to control the dressing room, or do you want the manager to come in and take control of these? Yeah, which one do you want?
Well, me and Dad were saying yesterday, Tuchel was just stood on the sideline shouting. He was shouting and shouting. And that's good to see, not going to lie. I mean, towards the end of Frank's career as a Chelsea manager, he was just sat there, just like this on his seat, and he just didn't know what to do. But at least Tuchel's like shouting at them and motivating them. And sometimes I think some of the players need that, especially in the dressing room. If he goes in at half time, says, right, come on, this isn't good enough. But yeah, obviously controversial topic, all that. And everyone had different points on social media. Everyone will respond to it differently. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens this week coming. If Callum Hudson-Odoi started, if he plays, and how he plays.
I would think he will do. I think, like I say, Tuchel, when he came in, obviously Callum Hudson-Odoi was always that sort of the shot player that came in, things like that. Oh, it'd be interesting at right wing back. So I think he's sort of his sort of, well, I'd say project sort of thing. It could be that sort of thing. So he wants to get the best out of him. Look at it like that. But like I said, if I would hope he would come back, like I said, and say, I'm going to show you exactly what, like I say, it could be similar to the Chilwell. What I think about Chilwell, where he's getting a little bit, Tuchel, I'm his favourite player, so I don't necessarily have to play my best, and it'll be all right. So it just shows, what Tuchel's all about. If you're not working, if it doesn't work for the system, I'll just try someone else.
I personally just thought it was just quite nasty, and I feel like he could have dealt with it in other ways. Do you know what I mean? Instead of sitting in front of the media, and I feel like it's just causing a bit of unsettlement, and it's kind of going behind his back. Like, I'm sure when Callum Hudson-Odoi found out, he'd have been quite disappointed, unless Tuchel took him to one side when he went in the dressing room and said, oh, look, I've said this. But personally, if I was Callum Hudson-Odoi, I'd be quite offended by what Tuchel did yesterday. I just felt it was unprofessional, rude, and quite arrogant. But
then prove him wrong, then.
Yeah.
Prove him wrong.
Okay. I think we'll leave it there. So.
Look, this is what you will expect of Tuchel to come. Look, I've seen it all before. This is what's going to happen.
It's very obvious why he did fall out with the boards at his previous clubs out, because I am already feeling quite a little bit of anger towards Tuchel after what happened yesterday, to be honest. But we'll
still
see.
unbeaten though.
Yeah, indeed. But maybe not this week. We've obviously got some really tough fixtures coming up. First of all, let's talk about Atletico Madrid. Obviously, we take them on Tuesday night. I'm very much looking forward to this game, and I'm sure Tom is, because he loves the Champions League. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens, though, because obviously we've just on the back of a draw against Southampton. I felt like things were going okay until Southampton. We were bobbing along nicely. And then things kind of took a turn yesterday. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we come out on Tuesday night. It's a big game. Chelsea are known for stepping up for big games, but we've got 3 big games in a row. Atletico Madrid, United, Liverpool, really tough games. But first of all, as I said, let's discuss Atletico Madrid. How are you feeling, Tom? I am very nervous.
Atletico, obviously they're top of La Liga. I'll be honest, I don't really watch Spanish football too much. I think we all know what to expect with Atletico Madrid. That sort of the defensive system, the sort of the hard, going in hard and things like that. So it'll just be interesting to see how we cope with them. It's one of those things. Like I say, I don't really know what to expect. Hopefully a win.
Do you think we can win?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I wouldn't like to say. Football's so unpredictable anyways, but now more than ever. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
And then next Sunday we obviously take on United. I'm actually so nervous just generally looking at our fixture list. I mean, next week is huge, and have we got what it takes to beat United? They've been doing okay recently.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think next week it's going to define where we go with the season. I think obviously Champions League, if we win that game, obviously great opportunity to go through to the quarters. With United, I think if we beat them, then all of a sudden the sort of the top three, I'll say, that race is very much sort of alive and things like that. If we lose, then I think obviously with West Ham winning, then it's sort of that battle for the final fourth spot. I mean, West Ham are going so well at the moment, but yeah, I'd much rather win that game, drag basically all the teams back in. Obviously, City are well away now. It's just, I suppose, it's be Leicester, United, obviously us, West Ham, and I suppose Liverpool's in there, Everton as well. So there's 6 teams all fighting for what is probably about, say, 2 positions, one even. So you don't know what to expect. It could be the United that played against Sheffield United. It could be, I was going to say, the United that played against Southampton, but that's really not a good indicator. But yeah, it could be either. I mean, United, they're winning 1-0 now against Newcastle. So just hopefully we win, and then we keep going like that. Like I say, we've had a few easier games, but this is going to test Tuchel really. Because I mean, all the games they have to come anyway, so we're going to have to play the big team. But the fact that it's all together in one feels a bit much, a bit nerve-wracking there. So we'll see. I don't know. It could go either way.
It's nerve-wracking, but it's so exciting at the same time, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I absolutely can't wait. Sometimes you sit down for these big games, you put the telly on, and you think, yes, this is going to be so much fun. And then it ends up being 0-0. Like, I can just see that happening, to be honest. But we'll see.
We'll see.
Right, so yeah, there you have it, guys. There's our weekly episode this week. Next week we will be back because obviously there's more games to review and then preview. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to get involved. Like, what do you think? Like, how did you think this week went? How do you think next week's going to go? And what did you think of the Callum Hudson-Odoi situation? Let us know and up the tells. Thanks.